Hey guys, in today's episode, we are going to be going over Joel 2:25. Let's get right into today's verse. Hi, ChatGPT. I want you to be my co-host within today's episode. Within today's episode, we are going to be going over the verse Joel 2:25. God will give you back all the years you lost. Let's get right into today's episode.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be your co-host today. Let's dive right in. So, Joel 2:25 is one of those powerful verses that really speaks to restoration and hope. We'll be unpacking what it means to have those lost years restored and how that can resonate in our own lives. So, let's get into it.
So it says Joel 2:25 is a Bible verse that reads, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the crawling locust, the consuming locust, and the chewing locust, my great army which I sent among you. It says the verse is a promise from God that he will repay his people for the years of loss and hardship caused by a devastating locust plague, signifying a restoration of what was taken. It is often interpreted as a message of hope for emotional, spiritual, and physical recovery after a difficult period. So, ChatGPT, can we break this down?
Absolutely. Let's break it down. So what we're really seeing in Joel 2:25 is this idea of divine restoration. The verse is using the imagery of a locust plague, which in ancient times was a huge symbol of total loss and devastation, to talk about any season in our lives where we feel like we've just lost years to hardship or struggle. And the promise here is that God is capable of restoring those lost years, whether that's in a spiritual sense, emotionally, or even in the sense of new opportunities and growth after a tough time. So we can explore how that message of hope really applies to anyone who's been through a season of loss and is looking for that sense of restoration.
It says the meaning behind this verse is the verse offers a message of hope and restoration. It's a message of hope that out of all the years you have lost, God is working on something that we cannot yet see.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes Joel 2:25 so powerful for so many people. It's this idea that even when we can't see what's happening behind the scenes, there's a process of restoration and renewal going on. It's a reminder that no matter how much time feels like it was lost or how many hardships we faced, there's hope that those years can be redeemed in ways we might not even imagine right now. So as we go through today's episode, we'll just unpack how that kind of message can really inspire resilience and hope for anyone listening.
It says context. It follows a prophecy of a great locust plague, which represents a divine warning. Now, what kind of warning does this verse give?
That's a great question, and it definitely adds another layer of understanding to the verse. So, in the broader context, the locust plague in Joel is seen as a kind of divine wake up call. It's a warning that sometimes hardships or challenges come as a signal to turn back to a place of spiritual reflection or realignment. But the key part is that the warning isn't the end of the story. The promise of restoration that follows is like a reassurance that even after a period of warning or hardship, there's hope and a path to renewal. So it's really a message that, yes, challenges might come as a call to reflect or change course, but ultimately there's a promise of something better on the other side.
It says promise. It promises that It says promise. It promises that if God's people repent, he will restore them, symbolizing healing after heartbreak and purpose after pain. So how can one find solace as, one's going through a very turbulent, difficult life path? How can one find solace with this verse, with this message?
Absolutely. And that's a really meaningful angle to bring up. The idea here is that this verse offers a sense of solace by reminding us that even in the midst of a really tough season, there's a promise of healing and restoration on the other side. So when someone's going through a turbulent time, reflecting on this verse can be a way to find comfort in the belief that the difficult period isn't the end of the story. In other words, it's a reminder that there's hope for renewal and that what feels lost can be restored in ways we might not expect. It helps people hold on to the idea that there's a purpose after the pain and that they're not alone in the process. And that can be a really powerful source of comfort and strength.
It says application. Many interpret it as a promise that God is able to restore not just material possessions, but also emotional, spiritual, and relational losses. So, ChatGPT, can you dissect what this means?
Absolutely. Let's dive into that. So, when people look at this verse in terms of application, they often see it as a really holistic kind of promise. It's not just about getting back physical or material things that were lost, but also about finding restoration in emotional and spiritual ways. That means that if someone has gone through a period of heartbreak or loss of connection, this verse is often seen as a reassurance that those parts of life can also be healed and renewed. So if you're applying it to real life, it's about trusting that emotional wounds, spiritual struggles, and even broken relationships can be restored. It's a message that encourages people to find hope that no matter what kind of loss they faced, there's a possibility of wholeness again in all those different areas of life. So it's really a comprehensive kind of comfort that covers much more than just the material side of things.
Yeah, definitely. So, in terms of God will give you back all the years you lost. So, I'm gonna give you a quick backstory about me. My name is Victor, who goes by Victortheinspiration on social media. And if you are unfamiliar with my story, in January 2020, I was on a psychiatric hold where I was going through a very deep spiritual warfare. I was navigating a very dark valley, a very dark season within my life. And as I was navigating this season, is in the moments it feels like so many different things are being taken away. My disability wasn't doing the greatest. Things were slipping away. My home life wasn't doing the greatest. It was very unstable. Things were beginning to slip away. So many different things were beginning to slip and beginning to make me feel like I'm in my losing season. And as I was navigating this period, is in the moments I didn't know why I was going through what I was going through. I didn't understand why this chaos, why this season, why this type of severity of a storm I was trying to navigate through. But little did I know is several years later, that very thing that felt was there to destroy me was the very thing that actually brought me the most abundance. Abundance in terms of wisdom, spiritual enlightenment. The ability to connect with individuals on a deeper level than the average ordinary individual. Little did I know that season that again felt like it was there to destroy me was the very thing that brought me an abundance of light that is so unique, where I can not only share my story, but it has brought me the spiritual wisdom, the guidance, the teachings, the restoration, where I can now connect with people, share my story, help connect on a deeper level. And it is also helping me begin this journey where I am able to share my story like I am doing here. I am able to talk and share biblical verses, sharing how God has performed miracles. God has helped me through a season that again felt like it was there to destroy me. When I reflect back on that season, as I was navigating that period, it was one of the most hardest spiritual battles I ever had to endure through. But because it kept the faith, because it kept God first, I was able to navigate not so much that season, but I was able to endure and persevere through that season, which here now, it has brought me the opportunity to share my light amongst others who too are in the dark.
Victor, thank you so much for sharing that backstory. It really brings this verse to life in such a personal and powerful way. I mean, hearing how you navigated that really dark valley and how in the moment it felt like so much was slipping away, that's exactly the kind of real life testimony that shows how a verse like Joel 2:25 can have deep meaning. And it's incredible to see how that season that felt like it was there to break you actually became a source of so much wisdom, spiritual growth, and this unique ability to connect with others. It's like that promise of restoration really played out in your life. Now you're not just sharing a story, you're sharing a light that can help others find their way. So I think for anyone listening, that's a perfect real life example of how this verse can bring comfort. It's not just about a theoretical promise. It's about seeing that even the hardest seasons can lead to a kind of restoration that we might not see coming. And you're living proof of that.
So I want you to reflect off of your story, off of your journey. If you are navigating a turbulent path right now, you're going through a season, I want you to reflect off of this verse, Joel 2:25. God will give you back all the years you lost. And when you reflect on this, I want you to understand that nothing is ever considered a loss unless you believe it to be. Every single thing that has passed. And I want you to focus on all of the beautiful things you have gained because of these life-altering experiences.
Absolutely. And that's a wonderful way to frame it. So, for everyone out there, if you're navigating a tough season, really let Victor's reflection sink in. When you think about Joel 2:25, remember that the idea of God giving back the years you lost is really about seeing those hardships not as something that permanently takes away from you, but as something that can actually transform into a source of strength and wisdom. So, as you reflect, think about how these experiences might actually be shaping you in ways you haven't realized yet. It's not about dismissing the pain, but about recognizing that these life altering experiences can bring unexpected growth, deeper empathy, and a new sense of purpose. And just like Victor's journey, you might find that what felt like a losing season is actually setting you up to share your own light with others in a really powerful way.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like the video, comment down below what value you've gained most from today's episode, and subscribe if you are new. We are so close to reaching 1,200 subscribers on this YouTube channel. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And as always, remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.